Welcome, my name is Cheyenne. Today I'm outside in my backyard. I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a quick tour of how the garden's doing and also give you guys an update on how seeds are doing that we started in the last videos. So I garden here in my backyard in Phoenix, Arizona, Zone 9B. And yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and give you guys that tour and an update and let you guys know how things are doing and also maybe what my plans are for this upcoming garden year. So let's go before it gets dark. Here's like an overview kind of the garden. So over in these pots, things are kind of falling down because it was super windy. Oh no. It was super windy these last few days, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and put those back up. But I got some bush sweet peas and some more sweet peas right here. Oh, bunny. There's Pancake, the bunny. Okay, and then in this bed is my lettuce bed. I have a few radishes in there. Hi, bunny. Alright, and I have a few radishes right in there, and then I also have my onion started over here. And this bed, I have my sweet peas growing up this little net trellis. And I have some chard in the front, some Swiss chard, some kale. And then all behind the chard, I have some celery going in the middle. And then there's also some radishes stuck in right there. And over here I have like some cilantro that I think might be bolting, but I'm starting more inside because I've been loving having cilantro and just being able to come out and grab it. I have it in a few other spots. And then I stuck some sunflower seeds in here, but it's too cold, so they're not really doing anything. Over here in this bed, I have my peppers. I also have a few broccoli. It was super windy, so things were just like flopping down. But you can see a tiny little head. The broccoli on this side isn't growing that well because it gets shaded out from my house. And then also the peppers that are here kind of shaded out also. But I have two broccolis. There's one right here too. That one doesn't have a head coming, but they all kind of blew over with the wind. And then I got some peppers. And the peppers, even though it's getting a little bit cold, they're still going and producing. And we've been harvesting a lot off of them. It's gonna be time to come harvest again soon. Oh, excuse me. Hello, I got a Damien. We got a Damien. Yes. And then in this poor bed, this was broccoli and cabbage bed, and everything was super pretty, but with the wind, everything kind of blew over, so I'm going to have to come in and fix it. But we got one broccoli right here, another, I think this is a cabbage right here. Yeah, cabbage, I think.
No, it's broccoli.
Oh, it's broccoli?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that knocked over.
It's just, I got blew over. But, and then I got one, let's go, it's on the other side. I got one over here that is growing ahead, but they just look rough because of this wind. I'm going to have to come back out and...
Look at
yeah, it's growing ahead.
Yeah, I will eat that. I will eat that. There's bro back.
Yeah, so we're going to have to get back out here and kind of put these things back up later. And then in this one, I have my mint, which is doing awesome. And over here in this pot, I have... This is epazote, which is like a Mexican herb. I haven't really used this much, but my mother-in-law knows how to use it, so I'll probably be harvesting this for her to use later. And then back in this bed, we got like radishes just tucked in this bed. And these are my, in the middle here I have some basil that was from the summertime that I just cut back, and I want to see if it comes back when it gets warm. We have a little kale, a chard, and then cabbages. Got the green cabbage right there, and then a red cabbage right here. So that one's already forming a little head in there, so that's nice. And then again, I just have this basil that I cut back from summer. It was huge during summer, but I just cut it back, and I'm just gonna leave it to see if maybe it can regrow when it warms up. And then some little violas. And in this bed, I still have my okra stalks. I'm going to have to cut those out. But we have one broccoli right here, a cabbage, another broccoli right there that's doing great. I'm surprised this one didn't fall over. All the other ones blew over. And then another red cabbage right there. And this is actually a pineapple top that I put in like a year ago. It was growing. Now I think it's getting cold. I don't know, but I'm gonna leave it and see what happens. And then these are just chamomile. The bunny has been eating them though like crazy. She also ate my snapdragons. I'm left with one little broken one. And in there we got some onions. And I had radishes and stuff all right here, but the bunny got them. Over here in this pot, we got carrots going. These are some Atoya onions and some more Atoya onions and just regular green onions here. I love having these green onions, just being able to come and cut the tops when I need them. And back here, we have my new raised garden bed that I'm gonna fill soon. I'm super excited for it. But for the last raised bed, we got my garlic right here in the front. I just shoved these little beets, and then I had an extra cabbage that I put right here that doesn't really have a lot of space to grow, so it's pretty small. This is an eggplant, which is pretty gross, but I will cut this back later because it's growing nicely under. But I'm kind of just leaving this to make sure it stays warm during nighttime, and that's why I haven't cut it yet, but it's growing nicely under. So I will be able to cut this back later and keep that again for next year. And then we got more little peppers over in this bed too. This pepper, I'm gonna have to come and take these off. It's doing awesome. So far my peppers, even though it's barely getting cold here, so they've been doing real well. This one, we already kind of cleaned it last time, took all the peppers off, and was able to make a really good green salsa. But yeah, if I can just keep these and regrow them next summer, that would be nice. If not, it's fine. I have peppers, a lot of peppers started inside, and I will go ahead and pull them out if I need to. Hopefully this weekend I will be able to get to filling this new raised bed up that I have. But one thing about my backyard is that I have Bermuda grass, and so when I put in my raised beds, I have just been putting a weed barrier down underneath the raised beds just to make sure I don't have a problem with the Bermuda grass growing into it, and that has been working fine for me. But when I decided I wanted to grow in raised beds, because I started with growing in containers and pots, and so when I decided I wanted to grow in raised beds, I did not want to have a weed barrier underneath my beds. I wanted to have an open bottom so that way any beneficial, I don't know, earthworms or whatever can get into the beds, and that way the roots aren't restricted either, and if they need to, they can get down into the soil, and I would be building up my soil house, and that's what I wanted. But I didn't know about Bermuda grass, and I didn't know that was the kind of grass I had until I did research about it. I thought I could throw some cardboard down, add the raised beds, and that would take care of it, but that's not the case with Bermuda grass. And last year I put in an in-ground bed, and it was my first like in-ground bed, and I did get a lot of Bermuda grass coming up in that bed like right away. So what I did was I had to dig it out, and I dug like a big trench down and got all the Bermuda grass and I got it all out basically, and then I planted it, and this in-ground bed is doing great. And I thought that it would take some time to build up the house before that bed did good, but this bed, it's doing good. It grew my okras really well. Right now it's growing my broccolis really well. So I think like even though I have clay soil, I think my natural soil is good. So with this new bed, I really want to try and not have a weed barrier underneath. So I'm going to just probably I'm gonna just fill it, really. I'm gonna put the cardboard and I'm going to fill it, and I'm gonna hope for the best, and I might regret it. I might be coming back here next season and digging it all out and putting a weed barrier down, because also where I'm putting this raised bed is right on this wall, kind of by the wall right there, and my neighbors have a lot of trees on the wall. So not only will it might get Bermuda grass, it might get tree roots, but I want to just see if maybe everything will grow well together, and maybe it will work. So that's what I'm going to try, because I really don't like having a weed barrier beneath all my raised beds. I do want to build like the health of my soil and be able to not restrict earthworms, because my ground has a lot of earthworms. If you go digging, you find a lot of earthworms, and I don't want to restrict that. I want it to be able to come up into the garden beds, and I want roots, if they need to be able to get down deeper if they need to. The new raised bed, and the plan is, well, not to have the weed barrier underneath, just put some cardboard and fill it with soil. And I want to have on the back of that raised bed, I want to be able to put sunflowers that will grow up, and then towards the front of it have maybe melons or winter squash or something that will be able to sprawl out, because it will have a lot of room to kind of just sprawl out onto the ground, because this won't be here. This is only here right now during the winter because it gets good sun, but this will be moved back over to like my patio area, and so it will have a lot of room to sprawl out, and I think that will do good. Another thing I did in this my garden area last year, which I really regret, was I went ahead and I put weed cloth down in between all my walkways. And the weed cloth I used was fabric, and this was just not a good idea. As I'm walking on it, the fabric is getting so thin that it's making holes, and you can't sweep it. It's hard to keep clean. I have to use the blower to clean it, because everything that will stick to it and then it shreds when you try to remove it, it just pills up and shreds. So I will have to come in soon and remove all the weed barrier in my walkways. I think what I want to do instead is remove the weed barrier and then get a chip drop and just put wood chips in the walkways so that I can start building my soil health. But I know the Bermuda grass is gonna come there, and I think I just have to be okay that I'm going to have weeds and Bermuda grass, and I'm not gonna be able to prevent that, and just be okay with it. So we're inside. I'll go ahead and show you guys my seeds. So the peppers had really good germination, and I was able to separate them out. And then we got some of the zinnias that are sprouted, and I will have to separate these soon. We got the cilantro, which I'm excited for this to go put this out in the garden. And we got the basils that are sprouted. And I think some or what are these? Oh, Cosmo, some Cosmo. So everything's sprouted and it's doing good. I also planted some alyssum, which is doing good too. So everything is doing good. With the peppers, I actually started way too many. So this is all the extra pepper seeds that I have, or the pepper transplants. I went and separated them out, but they are all extras, I guess. So I have them in front of the window because I only have 2 grow lights. So I don't have enough space for those to be under the grow light, so I put them in front of the window, and I should be taking them outside to get sun every day, but I just have them in front of the window, so whatever sunlight they get from the window, so they're not as big as the ones under my grow lights. But yeah, it's okay. And then we got the tomatoes that we started on the last video. They all came up. Most of them did good. What didn't do good was the green tomatillo. So I started some more yesterday because, yeah, I only got 1 green tomatillo. But everything else had a good germination. For the tomatoes are pretty good. I got 2 Roma tomatoes, so that was only a little bit, but I think 2 will be fine, just because I can't really fit too many tomatoes into my garden anyways. And then yesterday I went ahead and started, a few extra seeds. I actually started some cucumbers because I know, like, this is the beta alpha and then the market more. But I know for, like, our climate here that the Armenian cucumber does the best in the heat, and then these, like, pickling cucumbers or, like, your other type of cucumbers, they don't do that well. So I want to have them started, and I want to get them outside as soon as possible before it gets too hot that they're not going to grow well. And then I also, for the first time, I'm going to grow the roselle. The roselle, yeah, I started this because I want to grow this year. And then also started more okra. So I started some red okra and then the green okra. I was able to save seeds from the okra I grew last year. So I started those too. So that was my garden and that was my seeds. Everything is doing like pretty well. I will have to come back out and pick up a few broccoli that got flopped over. But other than that, everything is pretty good. But yeah, I hope you guys liked it. 2025 goals for the garden. So my only goals for the garden is to just get more organized. I just want to be more organized. I'm pretty much just don't have a plan. I just pick out what I want to grow, plant it, and then go put it wherever it might fit. And I'm not keeping track of anything. So like last year I grew really good onions. I grew really well onions that bulbed up. They were nice. And also celery. It was only 2 celeries that I grew, but they were big celeries. They looked like grocery store celery. And so I was looking this year when it was time to plant it, I was looking all over to see if I had maybe a video or I wrote down when I started them and like when I put them outside, and I didn't. And I was like super disappointed because I was thinking they did really well. It would have been good if I would have wrote it down somewhere so I can kind of like recreate that. So that's what I want to do this year. I have a book and I want to start writing when I start my plants, when I put them out, and then if they do good, if they don't, and like what I can do to improve it. So that's the goal for this year, is just to get more organized. But anyways, thank you for watching. Bye.